In this video, I am looking at the changes done to Pokemon Journeys. In Japan, the series is simply known as Pocket Monsters, commonly referred to as Pokemon 2019 by fans. Pokemon Journeys contains 48 total episodes aired in Japan from November 2019 to December 2020. Dubbed by the Pokemon Company International and distributed internationally by Netflix, this series dropped in 4 batches of 12 episodes each, streaming from June 2020 to March 2021. As I usually do, before looking at the changes done to respective episodes, let's look at the general changes. The first change is that text in the episode title and eye catcher have been changed to English. Generally, this is a direct translation of the Japanese text for episode titles, but some titles are localized instead of translated. The second change is the removal of the to be continued text. Considering that this is streamed on Netflix, the text is likely removed because the next episode is only a click away. The text has been a staple of Pokemon since its early days, so I'm a bit sad to see it go. The third change is that all Japanese text outside of the episode title and eye catcher has been removed. Sometimes the series will show locations and have the location name shown on screen in the Japanese version. All of this text is taken out of the English version, presumably because the dub is used as the basis for the international versions, so having no text is easier than having to constantly translate it for other countries. This is also done whenever Team Rocket uses a new Pokemon. The text displayed in those scenes is the Pokemon's original Japanese name. In one instance, not only is the name removed, but also the banner containing the name. The fourth change is that the score has been replaced, with the exception of some portions of the OST that are synonymous with the franchise. This extends to the opening and ending credits. Beyond this, the Japanese version tends to use its opening as an insert song. This track is called 1, 2, 3. This ultimately means that episodes where the track used to play has the score replaced in the international version, usually with generic stock music. This isn't too intrusive, but it does change the intensity of some of the on-screen action. Now let's get looking at the few, but notable edits done to the series. In episode 4, the train ticket taker originally had a mustache that resembled Adolf Hitler's. In the English version, his mustache has been removed to get rid of this resemblance. Considering that the Pokemon Company is localizing Pokemon for an international audience, and that means Europe as well, this sort of change was inevitable. In episode 14, Ash and Go head into a temple with the supporting cast of the episode. They are attacked by Kofagrigus, which is holding a boy and his Psyduck hostage. When Ash and Go ask their navigator how she knows that there were people or Pokemon in the Kofagrigus, she gives this explanation.
When a person is inside it, their weight tends to push it downward.
However, in the Japanese version, the explanation has different footage. Namely, it shows a person, presumably deceased, lowering into the Kofagrigus in real time. What's interesting is that there wasn't any visual editing done to the footage. The only change was the removal of the footage of the person dropped into the Kofagrigus, and extending the scene of it with its coffin closed. The scene then plays out like it originally did. Altogether, the scene plays out at practically the same length as the Japanese version, and that's after the footage was removed. In episode 16, a scene of Ash daydreaming about Onix had the daydream removed in the dub. This is because the original Japanese version contained a pun on the Japanese name for Onix, Ework, that caused Ash to daydream about the Pokemon. In the dub, the daydream fantasy itself is removed and replaced with a Haunter pun. In episode 41, a small change occurs. First, the episode has 2 episode titles, as it's one of those episodes that contains 2 10-minute episodes versus 1 20-minute episode. The dub moves around the opening from the middle of the Japanese episode to near the beginning of this episode. Because of this, the dub cuts out the extended joke of that first episode title, where Wobbuffet closes the first part of the episode and then the Japanese opening would start playing. The cutscene contains this fun bit where the first title announces that the first part of the episode is over, as evidenced by the finished text. Meowth also announces the title of the next part of the episode in a fun little comic bubble. Overall, less than 5 seconds are cut out of the dub. And aside from the general edits and these very few changes, these are the only differences between the international version and the original Japanese version of this series. Pokemon has been around for 20 plus years as an anime now, and in that time it has had a ton of censorship and localization differences. But nowadays, there's a lot more coordination between the Japanese scriptwriters, the animation team, and the international licensor, meaning risque footage will scarcely ever be in the Pokemon anime ever again, to keep editing and censorship work at a minimum. To me, this connotes that international versions and dubs moving forward will be more uncut than anything. And considering that the majority of these episodes were released uncut, this is only a good change for the franchise moving forward.